Okay, we are here. It's time. Thank you for people who. Thank you, Luigi, for watching. Hi. Hope I'm audible. I hope everything is as nicely set up as I made it out to be some hours ago when I first tested this whole thing. I hope everything goes well. It should be okay. This is. I'm not sure I need to say anything in particular about the nature of this live stream or the nature of any of this, considering the title already kind of says it all. This will be exactly what you think it is. It's just going to be rambling philosophy writing with a tinge of video games gameplay. By which I mean not just gameplay, but I will also, due to the fact that I have quite a deep attachment to the series, and I also think maybe somebody will find this interesting, I will share my own views on the Soul series, not in terms of like quality or like structure, yes, but not in terms of like gameplay structure, but in terms of the story mainly and the lore, and pose my own ideas on the subject. Now that I think everything's set up, so the first thing is that this is Dark Souls 3. I'm playing Dark Souls 3 because, I don't know, I felt like playing it, and I've played it the least, so it could probably be the most fun to talk, and also because I have quite a lot of things to say about it. It's a game about things ending. It's a game about the end of the world. If you look at the title screen and look very closely, you will see that the title of the game... Oh, everything's fine, Luigi? Thank you, that's great. Makes me very happy. The first thing to notice is that this game, if you look at the title, this game is wrong about everything, in the sense that everything is very wrong with the world, with the game, and explicitly and purposefully so. If you look at the title, for instance, you will notice that the title is not even symmetrically placed. The title is just, like if you look at Dark Souls 3, the 3 is not even like symmetrically on the screen. It's just slightly, just too much to the right, which is just kind of tells you, with the title alone, with the title screen alone, tells you that it's a story about things that have gone on for too long and things that are so deeply wrong, even when you feel the world's going as it is, even when you feel the story is ending, everything just feels wrong, everything feels like there's something missing, everything feels like there's something slightly off kilter. And that's the nature of Dark Souls 3, which we will explore alongside all kinds of ramblings that I will conjure as we go along. I will make a new character.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. intrusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones.
This is a very beautiful shot, touching the crown and holding some sort of darkness. It's quite beautiful. This is probably my favorite shot from any cutscene in the series, in the trilogy. There's a lot of meaning behind it, and something about it's just very tender and very revealing about the nature of the series in general, considering what she's actually putting on her eyes. This is by far going to be the longest time I will not talk within the whole stream. It was very quiet. I just wanted to set the mood. Generally, I'm just going to make a character. Let's see. Generally, I will not go too deep into the lore. Like, if you looked at the cutscene, of course, like if you've never played the Dark Souls series, this is completely, like, even if you've played them, this is very cryptic. It uses a lot of keywords, and this is kind of why Dark Souls is very confusing in a lot of cases. Dark Souls is full of keywords, and those keywords don't mean that which they mean in our world. Humanity, it means something specific in our world, and Dark Souls, it means something entirely different. So it's very confusing, especially like this is the third title in the series, arguably this fifth if you count Bloodborne and Demon Souls, which I would actually count, because those are like kind of important to the understanding the general idea and concepts. But I will not go too deep into the story. Well, for viewers, wow, I'm so popular. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. No, I will not go too deep into the story. As I said, this is going to be more of a general talk. You can ask questions, by the way, like if you want to ask anything, if you have anything, even if you don't have anything to say about me, if you don't have anything to ask about me, if you have anything to say about yourself, that's also okay. Like, everything is fine. I will commentate on it as best as I can. And this can just go to all sorts of places, this live stream and this entire series of live streams, if the first one goes well. I think this is going to be my standard character. There is no reason to make anything complex. Except in terms of complexity, if you look at my character, Dark Souls 3 is like the worst character creator in the whole series. It's really, really, really bad. And so I had to spend like an hour trying to make a character that looks cute. And even she's kind of lame. You know, the game starts with bell tolling to call us on to our journey. It's kind of, twists the narrative, shows us immediately our place in the world. In the first game, we are the ones tolling a bell to call forth adventure, and now we're being called forth to the adventure, which kind of just puts us even more beneath our place in the first one. If you look at the stream is a little blurry. Like, the quality is not perfect, but it should be okay considering this is not gameplay focused. It's not like we're not doing a challenge run. Although it would be kind of fun to do a no-hit run sometime, or like a no-death run, but that I think would take too much concentration and take away from the essence of this entire thing. This is I'm not going to look too deep into the game. I will not explore too much. I've played this game before, but I will do general exploration and note things that I think will be interesting even to people who've never played the series. I will not note deep intricacies on the lore or like on the parts of the gameplay, but I will note some generalities that I think will be interesting to anyone who has some semblance of interest, not just in Dark Souls, but in storytelling in general. And yeah, I got hit. See, no, hit run is over. For instance, my main interest in the Soul series of late has been the fact that this entire Soul series, what I think is kind of at the center of the series and at the center of From Software, even in general, is water. And specifically, not just water, but the absence of water, and how the absence of water is just so very strange in a lot of places. Dark Souls 3 starts with water that is behaving very strangely. If you look at the water, it's drawing up, it's going up to a place. It's all going in one direction, which is also very interesting. If you look above yourself, there's like a bridge, and there's a gate. There's like a gate or like a hole in the bridge that originally was meant to be for ships to go through. So this was originally a place filled with water, and the water dried up. So the very first thing we see in the entire game is the absence of water, which is incredibly interesting, isn't it? Like, why would you do that? Why is if you play Dark Souls 1, the first thing that happens is you go through a canal, like a sewer system, without water. Why is that? The first thing we learn one of the first things we learn in the art book is that Firelink Shrine doesn't used to be a water shrine, but that water was removed. Presumably, the best guess is that the game already had horrendous FPS performance issues on launch, and if we had water in the game would have just been dysfunctional on the PS3. Especially considering that Dark Souls or like From Software is known to be very poor at optimizing their games. Bloodborne famously runs at 15 FPS. Not at 30, but at 50. Turn back. There's a mini boss here. I'm not going to fight him. Just wouldn't be that. Like, it's just not really my interest right now. So you messaged me. Dark Souls is a series that's been in my radar for quite a while now. My first exposure to it was 11 years ago. Watched my cousin play DS2, played on the TV. I first got my hands on it 10 years ago. That is amazing. That's great. I have known about Dark Souls way shorter than that. It was this very game actually, but I didn't get that far. Haha. That's your second message. Yeah. Yeah, it's understandable. I think you're not that old. So you must have been like very little there. So yes, these games are not that tough, but especially like for like a younger person or somebody who doesn't really play single player, they can be quite ruthless at times. Oh, was this very game? Oh, you mean you got your hands on Dark Souls 3 on launch? Okay. Maybe I misunderstood. That's really interesting. It's been on the radar for a long time. I'm hopefully not going to spoil too much. I'm just going to play the start. Maybe I will go further in the series. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll play a different one so I don't spoil it too much. Because it's again not really supposed to be about Dark Souls. And I think Dark Souls is a very wonderful series. It's best experience as blind as possible. But that's right. You mean that's right with Dark Souls 3? Okay. But yeah, it's really interesting how literally everyone in the entire world has something to say about Dark Souls. They all have their own experience with Dark Souls. This is kind of why Dark Souls is an interesting series, or like a kind of a dead end inherently to talk about, because every single person's experience with Dark Souls is so drastically different that everyone just has completely different opinions on the series, on the lore, on every single boss, on every single aspect of enemy placement. Not to say that like your point of view is unnecessary to me, but just to say that something I wanted to point out, that Dark Souls is a series that's or I guess video games in general are very, very, very prone to do that. But Dark Souls especially, due to how much freedom they have and how strange everything is and how much you can get lost in the world, is a series that just gives everyone a completely different experience. To the point it feels like a different game. To the point it feels like everyone played a completely different game. I notice myself mumbling. I think I will try talking a little slower. My bad. Okay. But that's that's my first. It's like a test stream to test the waters. I'm noticing my own flaws. Hope not to repeat them too often in the future. I'm playing online, as you can see. This series has very revolutionary online play, or used to have on the PS3 with Demon's Souls. You can see what other people do. The game has a lot of secrets that are not meant to be secrets. The game is meant to be played online and meant to have the player engage with other players. And with that, the game is Souls as a series has a very unique community because of that. The game is specifically built to foster a community, foster a special kind of connection between you and other players. If you look at games like Death Stranding, they kind of have a similar interest in things like that. This is kind of what makes Souls in a way also beautiful, that you can just work together with other people. This is kind of why Souls as a series is also way, way, way less fun on your own. It's a series just meant to be played with other people. It's a series meant to be beaten together with other people. This is the first boss of the series, the first boss of the game. It's not like I've played all the games, so it's not really none of it is really shouldn't be too tough, even though I've not played this game too much. I'm quite confident I can do it while talking to myself, or like talking to you. Talking to you, by which I mean maybe somebody's listening to this, maybe not. Either way, it's very good for me. I think maybe somebody can find something beautiful in this. Maybe somebody can find something worthwhile within these streams. Oh yeah. In terms of the water, what I mentioned before, again, you can see the water here. Just water circling around this island. It's a very picturesque, thematic boss fight, like the guy sitting here with a sword in his chest, surrounded by water, a tree, a gravestone, a tomb. It's very, very emblematic of a lot of the themes. Souls as a series has obviously very inspirations by real life mythology. And the whole series is about this loss of femininity, this loss of water, this loss of the darkness of humanity, this loss of humanity, and also the question of who exactly is the reason behind this loss. Like, why is there no femininity? Why is water gone? Why is darkness gone? And why is darkness, and why is there just like, why is the world ending? What exactly has caused the world ending? But generally the end of the world is caused by this loss of darkness and humanity. Because darkness, humanity, and femininity is obviously, similar to original mythology and like our world's mythologies and religions. It's seen as the dangerous emotional part, and that emotional part was what the world was afraid of, apparently, seemingly, and because people were so afraid of the world being put into danger, they just let the world go dry. The world turned dry and died out, and now we're kind of in the remnants of this entire world. We're in the remnants of the world. Femininity, darkness, and water is gone, and we're trying to piece together why this all happened, who is the cause of the first sin. The second game is called Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. The first sin obviously being this loss of femininity. This is kind of the general idea behind the Souls series, the general idea behind Dark Souls specifically, the Dark Souls series specifically. Now I hope you have a general understanding of like not really the lore, like obviously you don't know anything about the kingdoms and the people and within them, but I hope you generally have an understanding of what we're doing here and what the game is actually about, so you're not entirely lost. It's not just like oh my god, I just said I don't want to fight mini bosses and now I accidentally ran into the dude. The one dude who's like, he's really tough, he kills you very easily. I don't want to fight that guy. If you found what I just talked about intriguing, by the way, Dark Souls is a phenomenal series. You can obviously recommend starting with the first one, not just because of the story, but also just I think the game plays with the fact that you know about the game. The game plays with the fact that you already played the old ones. But if you really think any of the games are interesting, like if you think Dark Souls 3 looks more interesting by far than all of the other games, you can also start with that. Just note you will probably miss some things, but it's okay. Just start with whatever you want. It's a recommendable series, whatever way you slice it. It's just beautiful. Now onto something else. Generally, I don't want to make like anything. I think I gave a brief overview of what the entire series of this talk. I don't think there's much to talk about else. Let me quickly check if I have any new messages, or if there's anything interesting to talk about that somebody else pointed out. Somebody else pointed out now I have to think. Well, I guess I can still talk about something Dark Souls related. This game also oh yeah, that's actually another overview over the general themes of the series. And the entire series is about not just Dark Souls, but the entire series repeats itself and calls back on motifs very, very frequently. This is the exact same, basically, like structurally, the exact same hub area as the one in Demon's Souls, which is for the PS3 in the very first game from 2009. It's the very first Souls game. So it's very interesting that Dark Souls 3, of all games, would choose to replicate Demon's Souls and not Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2. So what has that been? It's just, and through that, it's through the continuous reiterations of the same motive, everything becomes blurred, nothing becomes really linear and just trite and generic or single or like one-sided or like narrow. Everything is just multifaceted. Everything is multifaceted, everything is calls back on each other, and everything has so many layers to it. It's kind of similar. It's very unique. I think it's, from what I've learned of it, that's very kind of a Japanese philosophy. That's kind of similar to Japanese philosophies. George Lucas once said that he wants to make movies that echo each other. In the first one, he wants to have somebody destroy a planet or like a ship, and that echoes somebody destroying another machine in the fourth movie. And through that, it's like poetry. It rhymes, it adds to each other, and you kind of get to see more sides of this one thing. And through that, you can just play so much with motives. You can play so much with art. You can add so much beauty to the world. It's all super interesting. It has definitely shaped my own creative process. I constantly try to reuse motives and add to them, and just expand on the world and not just have something be a one-off, because it just makes everything so much more integrated and adds so much more beauty to the world and makes everything just so much more believable. It's not just a one-off thing there to just serve a singular purpose. Lucy, you write, The doll in Bloodborne comes to mind, and this lady right here, which I'm forgetting her name. Yeah, the level up lady. She doesn't have a name, she's the fire keeper. She keeps the fire here lit to help you out on your journey. Yeah, you're right. The doll is by far the most popular and beloved and interesting of all the level up ladies. But he has a freaking motive, and the motive seems to be a little more than just convenience or attachment, like having a cute girl tend to you in your journey. There seems to be more to it than that. The doll obviously is the most blatant example. The doll has honestly by far the most unique and interesting lore. Maybe she's like one of the most interesting characters in the whole series. And you know, through that you can kind of just learn so much more about the series, just having the motive repeated. Also interesting that the Firekeeper is one of the few deeply feminine aspects of this game. Everything else is so coarse and rough and barren and sandy. I don't like sand. You know, just to echo Star Wars and make it rhyme with what I talked about earlier. You know, see what we're going through? See what we're having here? Sewer system. Again, it's just, it calls, like, even Dark Souls 3 is so blatant with Dark Souls 3. Always, not through dialogue or through item descriptions or through just showing it to you, but just through everything just coming together in the gameplay and your experience traveling through the world. Everything just feels so weird and everything feels so staged, but you can't tell staged for what. Staged with what purpose, staged with what intention, staged with what aspect in mind to convey to you. But everything feels so slightly off, everything feels so slightly strange. And that's really what makes it so spooky in a way. Like, Bloodborne especially is a very terrifying game because of this. You said the doll in Bloodborne. Does that mean you have played Bloodborne? Have you played Bloodborne? I'm going to ask you that, but yeah, you know, that's kind of, I guess that's like the two main things that I've been interested in, but for real this time, like just repeated motives and also the femininity and the loss of water. Oh, I got a hotbat. No haha, sorry. You right, no haha, sorry. Yeah, okay, that's okay. It's okay. Bloodborne is phenomenal. More than I kind of like I'm going by my limited knowledge here. You're also right. Yeah, that's okay. Dark Souls is kind of just cultural osmosis in these series, I guess. Like everyone knows about Dark Souls. It's like the most famous thing to ever be famous. Like it's like the video game series. Okay, maybe not, but it's like very, very famous, especially nowadays with Elden Ring and Dark Souls. After Dark Souls 3, everything just became so famous. Eek! I'm going to die. Scary. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's not looking good. I actually need to stop talking right now. I'm sorry, I'm not talking. It's a little tough. Eek! Ah! Oh my goodness. Okay, I died. Fun fact, Dark Souls 2, when you die for the first time in Dark Souls 2, you get an achievement that says, "Welcome to Dark Souls," which is very cringe. You know, this series gets a lot of attention for being difficult. It is kind of like, if you don't really play single player games frequently it is tough. It is actually genuinely very tough if you don't play single player games a lot. But it's not actually, like, if you have some familiarity with single player RPGs, 3D RPGs, and I generally have patience, which the game demands from you. You just have to be patient and not rush things and be careful and watch out for things. It's not too tough. Lucy, you're right. All good. This guy is scary. He is scary. Throughout all this, throughout all the playthroughs you do, you kind of forget it. But Dark Souls is, or this whole Dark Souls by Dark Souls, I mean the whole series, is actually really terrifying. Like, it's very disgusting. It's all extremely disgusting, actually, and spooky. Bloodborne especially. Bloodborne is actually so miserable and spooky that it's like, I wouldn't even, like, I know I have a friend who says the game is too spooky to play it. The game is so scary. It is scary, that's true. Yeah. Now I'm not having much of an issue anymore. Uh-oh. Okay, see, done with that. That wasn't so bad. And now we have a really good reward. We get a good reward from that. We have a longbow, which is very cool. Look at this. Rah. Okay. Let's see. Let me check actually one more thing. I have 4 viewers. Who are these people? Who is watching? Yeah, that's really funny. Well, I hope you 4 people find something. Maybe somebody is watching this afterwards, rewatching the stream afterwards. I hope you find something beautiful in this. Although, of course, eek! I have to see if I can make something beautiful out of this. I'm not sure if, like, I guess, like, some people might be coming from Twitter, so I'm not sure how many people have watched my YouTube videos, but due to the fact I'm saying the videos, the streams about writing, I do want to mention that. Hi, you two. Yeah. Hi. Luigi says hi, you two. Hi, you two. Hi, you two. I do want to mention my writing in a sense that I have recently, by which I mean over a month ago, I've made a YouTube video called Ego Death of the Author. It got a lot of attention. I'm very thankful it got 800 views. That's really cool. Like, I don't do it, like if you look at my content, like, it's clearly not really something that would get too much attention, but the fact it gets even this much attention, it's already quite a lot to me, and means a lot to me. The fact it's gotten such a positive reception, and I hope that, like, I've seen people say that they found something really interesting in it, and the fact people can find something beautiful in what I'm talking about is really nice. Ego Death of the Author is actually part 1 of 2 of a series that I'm making right now. The second part is going to be called Ego Death of the Writer, which is more going to be about... Wait, I'm stupid. I meant Ego Death of the Reader. The first one is called Ego Death of the Author, the second Ego Death of the Reader, which kind of just inverts the concept and talks about... we'll be talking about... Eek, I'm dying. Uh-oh. Oh. We'll be talking about just how to give yourself up to the story. Like, the author gives himself up to the story, and the reader in turn also gives himself up to the story. It's all about the death of the ego, which I think is very interesting, and something that really has in recent years begun to shape my own writing, to the point it's kind of the center of my own experience with the craft. Another one of those cases of the series being kind of very, very strange. We go down a cell. Here we're in a cell right now. It doesn't ever talk about why we're in a cell or why we have to go through a cell. But it's like something that, again, just feels very weird when you just stop and look at it. And just this is kind of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, especially Bloodborne. Bloodborne is so egregious about it. But just the entire series is about things that just seem so very strange, but you can't put your finger on why. Why is it so strange? Everything is just so weird. That's a very cool moment. It's a dragon. And we can leave him be. I am not interested in fighting dragons, I'm interested in philosophy. Men, what is our profession? Poetry. It's poetry. Actually, I'm dying. He's actually shooting fire at me, that's no good. I hope I can make it past. Okay. We are in the clear, hopefully. I haven't played this game in quite a while. I've only played this game like 3 times. So I don't have much experience with the intricacies of enemy behavior and when I'm safe and when I can do things. But it should be fine. I've played all the games. I've played all the games in the series, so I'm quite confident that I won't die too much or have the game inconvenience my talk. Eek! Okay. Would be funny if I died just now, because this guy's actually tough. This guy always messes me up on my first. Okay, very chill. I hope again the audio is not too loud. I hope it's all fine. Hopefully I don't mumble too much. Yeah, sure, yeah, okay, see, it's fine. Wasn't that bad, was it? Lothric Helm. The game is very loud. Like this game is, like everyone's, like all the enemies scream so much. Jeez. Now. Eek. The audio is fine. Okay. Thank you. Luigi writes again, I've actually seen that video on release and I found your process of writing to be enlightening. As someone who is new to it, but I barely have done any works and wrote rather amateur poetry. I'm really glad you watched the video. I'm glad you liked it. I was talking to somebody else yesterday, like another friend, and he said that he found the video super interesting and just couldn't stop thinking, or like not couldn't stop thinking about it, but it kept popping back into his mind, like as a shower thought, and he wanted to see more of my thoughts. So it made me very happy. So it also makes me happy to hear you talk about it, having watched it. There was a weapon I wanted to get, but I forgot. It's okay. It's okay, I will get the weapon later. Yeah, you said you write. Yeah, I think writing is just super, like, writing is just good for the soul. Like, I of all people shouldn't be the one saying this, but like writing is, or like creating anything is super embarrassing. And I think it's embarrassing whatever level you are at. Like whatever level you are at, it's embarrassing and cringe and like, but it just makes you, it just helps you so much. In another video, the video actually I released before Ego Death of the Author, I talk about the inherent limitations of language and how they can often damage you. But that's not exactly right. Like I do think language can, or like putting things into words or creating things can help you make you feel so much better and add so much to your soul and make you have such a different perspective on things. Usually also just wrote, me too, I'm interested in the eventual release of part 2. It's coming, not too late. It's coming rather soon, hopefully. It's been over a month. I mean, a lot of things have happened, kinda. Like, a lot of things have happened in my own life, which is why it's been taking a little longer than it should. I wanted to, like, write a bit quicker, but, you know, things came up. I think if you've seen my Twitter, if you've read my Twitter, you saw that I've been doing a lot of other things. But another one of these guys, and he's also killing me. It's not good. It's tough. This game is hard, actually. This game is tough. Take it back. This game is tough. It's also hard to see where he even attacks from, because like he just has arms everywhere. Uh-oh. But I think you just have to follow his head. Oh my god, I'm dead. That was no good. I'm dead again. Oh well, it's okay. It's the most tough enemy in the whole game. No pressure, you say? No pressure, thank you. I am feeling pressure, but I'm not feeling. It's not that bad. I think it's okay. I hope I'm not pushing myself, or like I'm not pushing myself to the point I am super anxious. Dark Souls 3 has the very, very good benefit of the fact that its first level is absolutely phenomenal. The first level of this game is fantastic. High Wall of Lothric in general. This area gets expanded on later and you can explore it later. And it's absolutely phenomenal. It's one of maybe the best area in the entire trilogy. The best first area in the entire trilogy, I mean. But then it has the issue of having the worst second and third area of the entire trilogy by far. And because of that, I've not played it too much. I've not played it too often because I just get tired of the second and third area. You can definitely see that the game was rushed in many ways, unfortunately. If you look into the release schedule, like how did the From Software become a worldwide phenomenon within a decade? A decade of games, and they are worldwide, going from a niche little game to phenomenon, worldwide sensation. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. George R. R. Martin wrote the story to the Elden Ring. Like, it's crazy. Oh my god. You know, the games came out very fast. If you look at the release date, Demon's Souls 2009, Dark Souls 1 2011, Dark Souls 2 2013, or 2014, no, I think 2014, Bloodborne 2015, and then Dark Souls 3 2016, which is an extremely tight schedule. Of course, there's multiple teams, different teams working on different games, but it's very emblematic of a lot of the issues with Dark Souls 3. The fact that the game released exactly 1 year after Bloodborne did. Like on the exact same date, but 1 year after. Of course, Dark Souls 3 wasn't made in a single year. It was worked on by a different team than the Bloodborne team. And then later on, Hidetaka Miyazaki came to take over the game and work as the director of Dark Souls 3 after finishing Bloodborne. You know, which is kind of like Dark Souls Bloodborne's DLC was released only a few months before Dark Souls 3 came out, which is just like the game Dark Souls 3 had a very, very troubled development cycle. Dark Souls 2 is famous for having a horrendous development cycle. Dark Souls 3 seems even more egregious with it. honestly, to me, considering how many things were changed. I'm seeing your messages. I'm going to finish my thought and then respond to them. My bad. Like Dark Souls 3 seems to have drastically changed the entire story, the entire areas, all the level design, all the enemies seems to have been drastically altered very shortly before release, which is just, kind of makes talking about the lore also very annoying, because the game just has these very obviously like aspects that you make you think they would have changed this or that had they had more time. By the way, this area also looks beautiful. But it's cool. Like, it's all still fine. I still think it's a successful game. Like, the game succeeds at many things. But when your game is known for being that one game that had its final boss completely changed and just have the final boss be a completely different character right before release, it's like, what? It's like, and it's like the final game in the series. It's like, come on, like there's obviously something wrong here. There could have been more. Okay, I'm going to read your messages now. Also, on the topic of Dark Souls 3, this first area is rather nostalgic to me, seeing and hearing about its lore in the lens of my adult self. By best area of the game, how does it compare to the other two games in the trilogy? What does it do right? Best first area. First off, it's nostalgic. I've only played these games like a few years back. I started with Bloodborne, so I don't really have nostalgia for them. Or in general, I don't really have nostalgia for most things. But I'm glad you think they're nostalgic, which is again what I mean by so many people have so many different perspectives from the games, which is really nice. Like, just such a... Again, it's just so many layers, so many different perspectives of looking at things, so many different ways of rhyming. Oh my god. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I love another message. Okay, let's actually respond to that. Best area, how does it compare? I think Dark Souls 2, I think all of the first areas are good. Dark Souls 2 I've played the least. It's also kind of hard to say what even the first area is supposed to be of Dark Souls 2. But let's say that one of the giants is supposed to be the one in Dark Souls 2. I think that area has also been great. All of the areas are great. It's like the first areas are often the most finished of these games because of how rushed the games are. But I do think all of them do it phenomenally. I'll talk about this in a second, actually. Binji Minji Schlingy says, I hope that's a name. I hope Miyazaki doesn't get burnt out pumping out games every 2 years. Yeah, that's actually true. It's actually something Miyazaki has talked about. If you look at the games, pumping out these games is like, all of these games obviously take from each other. Like, all of the games have this, like, take animations from each other. You take assets, mainly animations, obviously. Like, if you look at Elden Ring, Elden Ring has so many animations from Dark Souls 3. It's built on the same core, honestly, in many ways. Has very similar story beats, very similar structure, very similar ideas. So it does feel very... so one of the most frequent criticisms of the series, especially after Dark Souls 3 released, is that these games are way, way, way too tired. By tired, I mean they just repeat themselves way too much. We've had like with Dark Souls 3, there's like the 5th poison swamp in a game, and it's like kind of gets lame after a while. Many people would say, and it kind of says a lot about, like, Dark Souls 3 is a thing about ending things. It's a thing about being things going on for too long. Like the world goes on for too long, the world is tired, the world is dying. Which is not just a game thing, it's also a meta thing. Dark Souls 3, like finishing that game must have been incredibly relieving and like breathing new air to the studio, to the people working on it. Because it's like just another one of these games, another one of these types of things. And if you look at, like, Miyazaki talked about it, like, there's actually one very curious title in the From Software catalog that they made, a little later than the, or like made a little after Dark Souls 3, made alongside Sekiro, which is their scene, like a VR game. It's a little VR game, and Miyazaki talked about how that making that game just helped him. By the way, this is one of the ugliest textures in the entire game. This is not out of bounds. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Again, the game is just kind of unfinished in some areas, but it's fine. Like, the game is finished, but just kind of like there's some things lacking. Not to say the game's completely unfinished or unplayable or whatever. Like, the game is very well done. What is this? Yeah, this is better. Their scene was like breathing fresh air for the studio. Like, Sekiro is also very, very different from the other games. But just having people work on like both, like a very dark game and a very high-spirited, tender and kind game, just is just must feel so beautiful to the people working on it. So relieving. If you look at take a look at our own works. Maybe somebody here is working on their own stuff. Maybe somebody here is making like an RPG Maker game. Maybe you're making your own poetry or working on your own story, vision novel. Maybe you have a dream of making a movie. You have surely realized that like at some point you just get so cornered. You put yourself into a corner by your own creations if you just work on this one theme too much, and it can just taking a breather, not in the sense of just taking a break, but just taking a breather by even just working on something completely different can just mean so much to you and actually make your other work much better, because you just, to quote Miyazaki, I'm drawing from different sources of energy. You're exploring different parts of your mind. You're letting other parts of your mind breathe. Like, no matter how much of a genius you are, if you work on one thing, you will just let other parts of your brain die out. You need to work with all parts of your brain. Like, if you have a healthy mind, you need to work with everything. You need to just, like, if you do one thing and you can do it very well, you can be very good at it, but I would say you can be much better at it, even on that one thing, if you just let other parts of your mind mature and breathe and not neglect them. So yeah, hope I gave you a satisfying response to your comment. I hope I didn't mumble too much with that. I didn't even focus on that, but I hope I did well. Hope I did pretty well with that. Yeah, best area. Maybe it's not the best area. It's very good though. And like it's phenomenal. Does its job right. But of course, it's one of those things where you go, oh, it's like Dark Souls 1. Like, it doesn't feel as unique in that aspect. I guess it doesn't feel like you're traveling into a completely unknown world. So in a sense, maybe it's not the best one. But then again, it's a sequel, so I don't think that's really too much of an issue. You sound good, no mumbling. That's fine. Okay, that's Richard. Thank you. Like, that's what somebody just wrote. I sound good, no mumbling. Thank you. Richard. Richard. it's a sequel, so I don't think the game is about repetition. The game is about a primordial circle. The first the guy who helps you on your journey in Dark Souls 1 is called Primordial Serpent. What do you think serpents do? What do you think the serpent symbolism is? It's biting its own tail. It's a cycle. So things repeating but being slightly altered, being slightly rhyming with themselves, slightly playing with each other. It's the general idea. I don't think it's inherently an issue, although it can be an issue, and I don't want to say that the Souls series is not completely is completely innocent to the repetition criticism that so many people have pointed out. I have no healing and I'm about to die, so I actually don't even know what to do now. Actually, I think I might actually return to the hub area and get some healing, so I don't have to... Where am I? Yeah, let's return to the hub area. I think we're chill. I'm just going to level up and get some healing because it's getting too dangerous and I don't want to die. I said this would be like a different angel I had. Yeah, she's very cute. She's definitely one of the cuter. Actually, I think all of the level up girls are very cute. She's super cute though. I love her, like her crown, like it hides her eyes. She's blind. You can take a lot from that and take a lot of lore from that. Very interesting. And also, again, I talked about circles. Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls Demon Souls has a very interesting, mysterious thing that the level up lady in Demon Souls doesn't has wax covering her eyes. And it's never explained. But Dark Souls 3 actually explains why the Firekeeper lady has a crown covering her eyes. Which is kind of how the series just rhymes with each other. It's like poetry. It rhymes with each other. To quote George Lucas again. It rhymes with each other. It elaborates on each other with each sequence. It's all sequences. It's all talking. It's all just an elaborate dialogue. So it's very, very interesting because of that. So I don't think the games are inherently connected in the sense that they're in the same world, but I do think that they have something to say about each other, and they don't just have a new game, but that just goes into a new game. I actually, to quote George Lucas, what's wrong with that? Somebody wrote to quote George Lucas, as if that's like a shut up. Shut up. That's my friend, so I'm allowed to say shut up. Hey. Somebody else also wrote it, so don't be mean. Be nice to me. Somebody wrote, I wonder how long till people get tired from Soulsborne games. Soulsborne games, that's kind of like, it's the big controversy, not the controversy, but the big thing with the Soulsborne games is that they are kind of known to be. Oops, I thought I accidentally I was out of the game. They're kind of known to be. I got a heart emoji now. It's all fun in games. People have grown tired of these games over a decade ago. Many people argue that Dark Souls 3 already just is kind of where the Souls games got boring and repetitive. And a lot of people also say that even Sekiro is just lame because it's kind of just badly made. Not because it's the same thing, but because it's just badly made. But it's a very complex topic, and I don't really want to get into it too much. But yeah, Souls games are losing their audience and they're gaining new audiences. Elden Ring is one of the highest selling games of all time, so clearly they're not wanting of new players. But yeah, we'll see. Like there's a new game coming out called Duskbloods. It's a Switch game. It's like an online multiplayer thing. It seems kind of weird. I probably won't play it because I don't have a Switch 2. But you'll see how it goes. I'll see. I'll see how it goes. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just talking. We'll see how it goes. But in the end, it should all be fine. Like if the games don't sell, then hopefully they make something new. Got a new message. While some people are wrong, that's probably a message about Dark Souls 3 being tiring and just the same thing. I mean, it's what I said before. Souls games are so uniquely subjective, and literally every single person's experience with Souls games is so uniquely different that it often feels like you're just talking to somebody who's just played an entirely different game. So, to quote George Lucas again, even though people make fun of me for it, from a certain point of view, everything is kind of valid. Like, people would say like Dark Souls 3 is the same thing again, some people wouldn't say it's the same thing, and I think but it's really too wrong. Although I think people are maybe a little too mean in a lot of ways. I do think Dark Souls 3 adds a lot. It has a lot of interesting aspects. By the way, this guy is really tough. Luckily, you can backstab him, so it's not actually that dangerous. To quote George Lucas, somebody wrote that again. Whatever. Everyone is so stupid and mean to me. This guy is crazy, actually. Sekiro's Peak, somebody wrote also. Sekiro is... I need to replay it, but yeah, it's very, very, very good. I talked about it before, like if you watch the stream from the start, I talked about how Dark Souls 3, oh my, I have no idea what's going on. What in the world is this guy doing? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sekiro must have felt like a breath of fresh air for the people making their game from software. So I'm really glad they got to make something new after Dark Souls 3 and not just Dark Souls 4. Sekiro, I think is very funny to replay it. It has a lot of interesting aspects. The game is really messed up. The game is has a lot of strange things. The gameplay is very addicting. Another person writes, I didn't know that From was making a new game. I guess that they are losing a bit of audience. I don't know what that really means, because I don't think they're losing audience. I think From Software is at the peak of the popularity. And it's like arguably that this is it. Oh my god, I didn't know this could happen. Look at this, that's funny. Like arguably it's only downwards from here. Like, how do you even make something as popular as Elden Ring again? That's like a once in a lifetime achievement in terms of success. Or is it? I wouldn't say they're losing popularity. I think they're experimenting on how to keep the money flowing and how to keep making the same amount of money that they're making now. I think they're experimenting. I think you can see the experiments even with Elden Ring. Bosses like this, you hear it here first. Like, mark my words. If you look at bosses like Radahn from Elden Ring, they are not just like a one-off gimmick thing. They seem to be an experiment. Like, the Radahn is designed Radan is designed like an MMO boss. Like he feels like he's like a Final Fantasy 14 boss. And I think that's like not just like a little silly thing that I thought would be cool. I genuinely think that, like, mark my words, the next game they're making, the next big thing they're making is going to be an MMO. They're going to make an MMO. There's going to be a Dark Souls MMO because that will make a lot of money. And that's how they keep investors happy. I think they're making I think they're going to make an MMO. I mean, they're going even more full force on the online play with Duskbloods. If you look at what the game is. I think they're going to make an MMO. Sounds very crazy. By the way, shortcut. We are back to the first part of the first start of the game, which is very cool. Elden Ring. What else? I got a new message. 3 new messages. Maybe it's because my stuffy nose, but I can feel the miasma in this area. Lol. Yeah, it's dark. The game is spooky. We're literally killing crippled, miserable wretches. It's really sad. Demon Souls is also like Demon Souls. Like Demon Souls makes us kill disabled people. Like Demon Souls makes us kill disabled children. It's like now disabled fetuses. It's like what? It's disgusting. It's terrifying. It's evil. It's miserable. And I can understand why people don't even want to play this. It's messed up. Actually, let me actually level up because there's a boss ahead. Not level up, but heal. Miasma in the area. Yeah, there. If you look at this, if you watch my streams in the future, there's going to be even more miasma. This game is less disgusting than Bloodborne, but oh my god, Bloodborne is. The more I think about it, the more I just realize that these are games that so many people are probably not going to have an interest in playing just because of the nature. But From Software MMO, somebody writes, yeah, they're going to make an MMO. I said it first. I'm making, like, that's my bet. I'm investing into that bet. I'm going to win millions from that bet. Elden Ring 2 MMO. That might actually not even be that. I think I died. That's funny. Didn't expect that. Elden Ring 2 MMO is not even that invalid, I think, of a claim. I think that could actually happen. Considering Elden Ring is such a big IP. But they're kind of milking Elden Ring like with Night Rain and stuff, so I don't have much of an opinion on that because I haven't played Elden Ring. I've played it, but like not really. Passing by to say hi. Hi Ulta, know you. We're umfies. What's up? Wanna also like hi. Hi. What's up? What else? I think that's all the messages. I've been consistently having like 4 to 7 viewers. That's kind of amazing to me. This live stream will be kept up. People can watch it afterwards. Obviously, it's like this will be the least, hopefully by far the least interesting of my live streams, due to the fact it's just a test and like a nervous little experiment. I will hopefully improve my own vocabulary and articulation and topics. As you can see, I've been talking a lot about Dark Souls. Hopefully, we get to talk about other things as the years go, not as the years go by, but as the streams go by. Eek. It's not too bad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's no good. Okay, we're not going to But you know, to quote, like to once again to elaborate, I think I've just have 3 knights following me, not 2. But to follow up on that elaboration, like circles and like concepts being elaborated on, you know, this guy is obviously similar to the Black Knight in Dark Souls 1, but like just new. If you play Dark Souls 1, the Black Knight, they clearly had more ideas with that character, like that enemy. Maybe wanted him to have more of a moveset, maybe make him harder. Like, and you can see that with this, they kind of made him harder. Crucible Knights and Elden Ring, or whatever they're called, those are like the next level. They're even harder, I think, or like have even more cool animations. So it's just the same concept with each sequence. It's elaborated on. Miyazaki once said that life is a spiral staircase. Like it's a spiral. Like life is a spiral staircase. With each step, with each iteration, you just get slowly closer and closer to the goal. You make something, you make it again, you make it again, you make it again, and you get closer and closer to the goal, to the end goal, which is just to have your original vision. So again, like creative processes, as I've talked about earlier, like your first draft, or like your first finished thing, even if you have a draft and you make that draft over and over again and work on it over and over again, like it won't be to your satisfaction. You will obviously always miss something. Even if you think you've perfected it, even if you think it's perfect, you will like just look at it like a year later and just be like, what the hell was I thinking? This is atrocious. This is bleak. I can't even read this. This is so embarrassing. And then you make it again. You make something similar. You improve yourself. And that's how it goes. That's just, you can take that lesson to all things in life. You know, just be patient, maybe just like, you know, keep at it. Make like, oh my, this guy has a lot of health. Again, this guy has red eyes. In Dark Souls 1, there's also enemies with red eyes that are kind of a little tougher, but not really tough in like in much of an interesting way. If you look at like the animations and stuff, it's kind of similar to just a normal enemy with like maybe more health. Although I'm just kind of rambling right now, I'm not actually sure if that's like verifiable, if that's like much of a believable claim. Eek. But yet, this obviously is something that I've been working on for ages. Demon's Souls has Black Phantoms. Like, Demon's Souls is the only game in the entire series with a morality system, which is extremely interesting. Look how cool this guy is. Look at this. This is just fantastic. It's just so cool. It's just very fun. I died, by the way. Like, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough enemy. They clearly have been working on this since Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls has Black Phantoms, has Red Phantoms, I think. That are just the same enemy, but more damage and more health, and they look different. Like they just have a red like tinge. They're like just red, which is just like obviously interesting. Like it adds to the game, but it's obviously not what they like the end point. They obviously wanted more. Then they have Dark Souls, which has like characters with different armors, I think. Like there's more to it. Then you have Dark Souls 3. I'm leaving out Dark Souls 2 because Dark Souls 2 was not really, like it's a different game. It's just like, it's not like a bad game, but like it's different. So it's like more like there's a clearer line between Dark Souls 1, Demon's Souls, and Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Because Dark Souls 2 was made by a different guy. Yeah, different director. And in Dark Souls 3 you have like the red eyes, like the red eye demons. Yeah, like they're different, look different, have different animations, are much harder. Like they're just almost everything they want. I'm sure they have complaints with it. You know, all artists have complaints with what they make. Even Da Vinci probably has complaints with his Mona Lisa. If he looks at it like 5 years later. But you know, as another comment that came just now said, life is a Dark Souls boss. Life is a Dark Souls boss. That's true. Why am I not kicking? Kicking has always been annoying in this game. That's very funny. That they just, like, they kind of never always had this issue. We have another message. Dark Souls 2 is the great filler arc of Dark Souls. No, the great filler arc of Soulsborne. I mean, it kinda is. Like, maybe it is. Like, if you look at Dark Souls 3, there's obviously the most, like, the complaint that Dark Souls 3 kinda just ignores Dark Souls 2. Which I don't think it does, but, like, definitely has less relation to Dark Souls 2. Like, even people who say it is related and has things to say about it, like, I think even you have, like, even those people have to admit Dark Souls 1 is the more common subject. This is a really nice weapon. I think I'll use it actually. I think I'll use this weapon. It's a really long weapon. It could be very helpful. I need better stats though. Dark Souls 2 is the great filler arc of the Soulsborne. I mean, it's made by a different director. My summary of Dark Souls 2 is kind of that it's made by a very enthusiastic first timer. Like it's just as, like, I don't think the guy has directed the game beforehand, so he's extremely enthusiastic, has extremely many ideas, and you know, like he tried his best, but obviously he had such a gigantic vision. And a lot of it just didn't come to fruition, obviously, because it was just a little too much. Doesn't mean it's just like a pointless game. Doesn't mean the game's like dubious or whatever, but like I do think the game obviously isn't everything, and I do think the game kinda is the one that adds the least, because it's just like an enthusiastic young writer and director talking about everything that comes to mind, talking about God and the world. Like it's honestly almost chuny. Like it honestly feels like something a 14-year-old wrote in a lot of places, because it's like so many lines that just don't feel like Dark Souls. So much dialogue doesn't feel like Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 has blatant inspirations by Alice in Wonderland and Don Quixote. Don Quixote is like one of the big inspirations behind Dark Souls 2, which is just another one of those aspects. Like, I don't think it's an issue, but I just think it's really interesting that I have 9 viewers. 9 viewers want to hear about how Dark Souls 2 is inspired by Don Quixote. That makes me very happy. Don Quixote is kind of one of the inspirations. If you look at the item description, if you look at the data, one of the characters in the game is just called Don Quixote in game, like in the data. So if you look at Dark Souls 2, it's just like it's just a game about things that aren't as they seem, even more so than the other games. Like, it's thematic. Like, you can talk about it in any way. Like, if you as a player have depression and play Dark Souls 2, and you overcome your depression, or even slightly help yourself with depression with Dark Souls 2, is like, that's kind of the part of the themes of the game. It's like metaphorical. It's also like a meta game. Like, clearly they have something to say about their own company, and like clearly they have something to say about many things in the world. So it's kind of interesting. Obviously, I haven't played Dark Souls too much, so I don't have like an explicit example, unfortunately. So unfortunately, it's a little. Oh my god. It's a little. I hope I don't die again. I need to actually kill this guy, so I don't have to. Eek! Oh my god. Okay, we're good. He drops a lot of stuff. So that's great. Da Vinci is famous for always making adjustments, even years after finishing. Somebody writes, oh, this looks really cool. I think I'll use this. Yeah, that's true. Like, this is just how artists are. Like, Da Vinci, obviously. Like, there's like a joke. Like, you know, to bring back George Lucas. George Lucas gets a lot of... people complain about George Lucas because he changes things in his movies years after they came out. Like, if you look at A New Hope, which is like his first like big breakthrough, it's clearly like it clearly has new CGI, new scenes in the new versions. You know, yeah, but like if you look at the history of art, that's normal. Like it's something everyone does. Da Vinci does it, which is like the most famous artist in the history of humanity. You know. So I think it's very narrow-minded to just limit artists and have them like be like just have them be like force them to just have something finished and then never have it elaborated on. Obviously games are a tough, extremely tough medium, crunch medium. Like it's often feels like it's impossible to get even a fraction of your vision across with video games, because they are just like so universally just limited, and they have so many restrictions. People like the producers want this and that, and the schedule doesn't allow for this. For so like 90% of your vision will not be realized. This guy can heal. I didn't know that. So video games are even like, but video games, unfortunately, unless you under very certain circumstances, like that can happen, but typically video games don't really get tremendous upgrades. They just rewrite everything. They do get updates and like balance patches. Be wary of fatty. Balance patches, bug fixes, DLC. DLC obviously. If you look at Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 1's DLC was supposed to be in the game. Dark Souls 3 DLC was supposed to be in the game at launch. So you do get to have your chance at adding stuff. But you know, it's obviously tough. It's still very, very tough to push for your own vision. Movies obviously too. There's so much money on the line. It's just not one person making these. There's hundreds of and maybe thousands of people making one movie. And you're all like if you're the director, they're all like you all have to shoulder that. So it's tough. It's very tough to even get a fraction of your vision across. And I think the fact that people, by the way, I'm going to no-hit this guy. Watch me. I'm going to be so cool. And the fact that even a fraction of our vision can be realized with mediums as profane and businesslike and financially dependent and avarice and covetous and serpent-like as video games or movies is honestly kind of beautiful. Like the fact we can make something like this. Dark Souls is a game that just pushes for its vision. The fact that something like Dark Souls can exist. Like, let's be honest here, the issues people have with Dark Souls are incredibly minor. These are beautiful games, all of them. I died. These are incredibly minor issues. So I think there's just so much beauty in these games, and I think there's so much to these games. And I think we should support a game like this. Like, I think Dark Souls is like a game, like this of all games is something you can support. And get behind. I'm really glad I have like a consistent viewer base. I like some people are watching. That's really nice. I guess I don't have to fight these. Talking about, I guess, like, I've talked mostly about Dark Souls, but I think people can get something out of, like, even if you don't care about Dark Souls, I think you can probably get something out of this talk I've had. Like, I think I'm talking generally more about, like, art in general, so I hope that's interesting to people. I actually 7 spectators here. I'm going to fight this guy actually. 1 second. This is actually kind of tough. That's not tough. This enemy is kind of easy. He's rather simple. He also has very famous music, the most famous soundtrack in the entire game. He's a very nice theme. I will actually stop fighting him for a moment once he gets to phase 2. And see if you can recognize it. Okay. Yeah, this is the very famous theme. You like, even if you don't know Dark Souls, you might recognize the theme. Ah! Oh my goodness. Okay, interestingly, this is one of the first instances in the game where this is the first instance in the game where we get introduced to a new character, or like not a new character, but a new theme, which is Frost. Frost, I think, has existed before, but there seems to be something going on with that in this game. I died. I don't think I've ever died to this enemy, so it's kind of funny. But you know, I think it's fun. It's not like hopefully it goes well. It's fun. I haven't played this game in a while. I do enjoy this game a lot, especially now that I'm being able to it's just such a new perspective on things to be able to talk while playing. The one problem with having a grand creative vision and making a game out of it is that dummies online will complain and tell you how to do your story. Is something that somebody just wrote into the chat. I agree. That's actually, I mean, when you're an artist, you just have to tough it out. You just have to withstand the complaints. Like, no matter what you do, people will just be stupid and complain. So you just have to, like, just ignore them. But you have a grand creative vision, like, and people just tell you how to do your job, which is kind of dumb, obviously. There's the famous quote by, I forgot who, but there's a famous quote that people, like gamers, or like people generally, customers, don't know what they want, but they know what they like. Which is very interesting. Although this is not like, this is only tangentially related, that quote. Like if you have spent any amount of time in any space, like video games are the most blatant because for some reason, like gamers seem to have quite the, like, maybe just have to do. Okay, I guess I'm about to make too many mean statements that I don't really want to do, but gamers seem to have quite an entitlement and seem to be quite obsessed with having things go their way. This is also, again, I'm making a YouTube video soon about this exact thing, equal depth of the reader. I'm going to make a video about this. So I hope you look forward to that if you just think what I'm talking about is interesting. Somebody writes, this song slaps. That's true. This is by the way, this is a trick you can do. You can slam his head and then you can kill him. It's really cool. Again, the end game is really... Again, this is something that they definitely wanted to have in the older games. They definitely wanted to have enemy. With Bloodborne especially, it became a big thing. Bloodborne's unique feature is that enemies react to your strikes. In Dark Souls 3 too. Dark Souls 3 also does this. Bloodborne especially, that enemies are very reactive and you can destroy their limbs, you can destroy their hands. And based on what you do, they are damaged. That is definitely something that didn't just come up with on the spot. It's something they wanted to do since Demon's Souls, maybe even since Kingsfield. But they didn't have this at the time. Or maybe didn't have the resources, the abilities. Super interesting. Just kind of tells you a lot. Here we get to a very nice view. The game looks very nice, especially High Wall of Lothric is arguably the best looking area in the game. It looks phenomenal. Here we can have just a very good teaser of everything we're about to witness. And we have some very nice things, like lore things. If you look to the right, we have sand. If you look at the opening cutscene, this is probably where the pilgrims walked through. The sand is just, and this is actually the end of the world probably. The water here, the sea. And the sea is kind of just the end of the world. Like the sea is just prophesizing, or like the forerunner of the end of the world. We are on the last little islands, almost. And like if you look at the sea, like it just like if you like, that's my single favorite item description in the whole series is about the coming age of the deep sea, which I will get to when we get there, when we get there in the game. But I'll talk about that more. But yeah, it's about, again, as I talked about, I don't want to spoil too much about the series if you want to play these games yourself. But it's about, if like, I do think it's worth pointing out because I think it's very inspirational, and I use it as my own. Yeah, I'm working on a fantasy novel at the moment. Not like mainly, like that's something that I want to work on like later, or in the future. Not my main working title, but it's inspired by how Dark Souls handles its storytelling. So I do think it's worth pointing out, not just in terms of lore discussion, but in terms of just, you know, the title of the stream. Philosophy writing tidbits in Dark Souls. We haven't actually come to any tidbits. Is there any tidbits we can talk about? I can't think of any right now. I guess tidbits are in part just what people write into the stream. Like just now, I think I'm not sure if I actually responded to that, but somebody wrote and never heard this song about Ward's theme, which is fine. Like it's just like a thing like this. It's just used in memes, but like it's, you know, not too famous. This is the second area. It's about a kind of the second main area in the game. You can kind of see already the theme. Like, I didn't kill this guy. This guy was killed by the dogs. He was killed by the dogs. If you kill the dogs, like the dogs kill the humans with, or the hollows, or what, like the creatures, things, which is kind of just like a teaser of what's about to come, which is a very depressing area that's very clearly inspired by the Black Plague in the Middle Ages. Like this is the most, like blatantly, like the most easily recognizable, just Middle Ages inspired aspect of the story, of the game. It's about the Black Plague. It's about people dying. There's an NPC. I probably won't get to him because I don't really want to do too much, like random NPC stuff. but there's an NPC who is very enigmatic and strange, and many people don't have an answer to what he actually is about. But like, if you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. What NPC? And that NPC is like he's just making like a weird like childlike poem about the plague. Like that's what it's about. I'm not just inspired by a real plague, like a real poem, but it's definitely just what it's about. The plague. And what is the plague here in this game? It's not like in Bloodborne. The plague seems to just be us. Like if you pay attention to the gameplay, you maybe saw that the first boss of the first game and also those mini bosses just a little just normal until they just have pus coming out of them and they transform. That appears to be what's happening here, maybe. I need to look more into the lore actually, but it appears to be what's happening. Like just on all of these creatures long ago, a curse was laid on them. A curse was laid on all of us, including me, the player, the character, yes, you. And that curse is slowly dwindling. That curse is dying out. And all of the filth that's been being repressed is flowing out slowly. And it's about that desperate attempt to repress that aspect. And the question, of course, is again, who put this curse on us? We are the scholars of the first sin. What is the first sin? Who's the cause of the first sin? It's very interesting. Somebody writes, if you want to learn more about a future fantasy novel, there's a mention in her latest short story. That's something for some. That's I think I posted it on social media. Posted a short story on social media. I wrote it in 30 minutes. Well, I think in an hour. I don't want to exaggerate. I think I wrote it in an hour. I wrote a short story where I talk about some random things. I think it came out quite well. I'm quite proud of it. I might post it again on my account. If you look at my YouTube, you can see my Twitter. I think my Twitter is linked to my YouTube, so you can see that if you're interested in reading that. It's just like a few. It's just like 2 pages. It's just a short story, so might be fun to you. Quick. I actually need to drink something. Again, thank you for all the viewers. I'm thankful that so many people think this is interesting. Or at least I hope that's interesting. Hope I caught some people's attention with the things I've talked about. Hope people think there's something valuable to be found in what I'm saying. This is kind of what makes the games fun. There's a message, like you would have been surprised, but like you could have seen this coming on your own, but it kind of like just adds to the game and the community. There's so many strange things in this game. In these games, there's so many things that you cannot possibly find on your own, that you just have to use with with your community, and that's kind of just what makes these games unique. They definitely did well building their own community, and I think this is the reason why. This is part of the reason why these games are so popular, because they have fostered such a tight and intimate community that has to work together in order to understand the game and beat the game. And like Dark Souls 1 has the most convoluted and nonsensical way of accessing a DLC that I've ever seen. Dark Souls 2 might be even worse, actually. I take it back. And the way you like, it's just, it's not meant to be that. Like, it's not done for the sake of being convoluted. It's done for the sake of fostering a community. Like, it's done for the sake of having people work together to achieve one goal, which is to beat the game, which is to find secrets. Cleanse the bastard's curse. Again, this is like a Black Plague, like religious order guy who's there to clean the place of all the plague-ridden rats. If you've played Bloodborne, you understand the reference. All the plague-ridden rats. Like if you played Bloodborne, you might have some relation to that. Yeah, you might be able to understand where it's coming from. But here we have people burning, the corpse is burning, quite dark. It's all very interesting. Something else to talk about. Let's see. Obviously, it has been mainly Dark Souls centric. Obviously, the game kind of facilitates. Obviously, Dark Souls facilitates talking about Dark Souls, but I've been getting a lot of messages of people who are interested in this game. So that's kind of like, I guess this first stream is mainly Dark Souls centric. I think I won't continue for too long because I'm kind of at a good stopping point. Due to the fact, like, I'm just out of topics. I don't think too many people have too many questions anymore. That was not intentional. Let there be soup. And I don't just want to have like a generic gameplay commentary. I think I want to make this something interesting and special. I want it to be something that's like worthwhile and unique, and not just have it be like a gameplay commentary. That's just a let's play. Let me actually check one thing. Okay. I have no idea where I am. That's silly. Let's see. Ah! Again, one of these red eye enemies that kind of just is something that they definitely wanted to work on later, or wanted to work on throughout the series. In general, this area is actually very interesting for this. It's like a very civilization, like it's very like farming based, lower class civilization village. Where we can see people having hunting tools. Like if you saw his weapon, he was using like a farming tool that was repurposed into a weapon, which is something you can see the series often obviously makes sense to have that be as one of the central things happening in the game. Just like people are in desperate times, so they just have to desperately start using these kind of weapons. It's just resort to using these farming tools and to face increasingly more violent world. But it actually is a little more to it than that. Dark Souls has a lot of focus on the fact that there's actually a tough area. Actually, 1 second. Dark Souls seems to draw a lot of attention to the fact that there's no food. By which I mean no food. Like if you play these games and pay attention to this, there's barely any food ever. Which makes sense when you think about the fact that, well, it's a dying world. And, well, characters like if you're like the race that I am, you don't actually need food. But it's still very interesting, how is food seen in this world? Bloodborne is something I mention a lot because Bloodborne, I think, is the most aggressive with its thematic reiteration and thematic anger. Like, the game feels so angry. The game feels like it has so much suffering and anger, even more so than all of the other games. Because of that, it's very good for pointing out some interesting recurring thematic points. Which reminds me that I actually forgot something to do. Actually, let me actually do that as the last thing. Bloodborne has a very big focus on eating. If you actually, especially the last area, like if you pay attention to the Nightmare of Menses, there is a very big focus on eating, which is very interesting. And how food is food seems to be, obviously in this game, food is souls. People eat each other. Like people, there's a focus on cannibalism too. Where am I going with this is a good question, because it's just something very interesting that I have not actually really understood quite yet. Because harvesting is such a central theme. If you look at Bloodborne, I kind of don't want to spoil the ending of Bloodborne, or spoil the last parts of Bloodborne. But if you pay attention to the ending, to the last parts of Bloodborne, you will see certain characters harvest things, and it's like very intimate, very beautiful. And this harvesting is just something. Harvesting of souls, harvesting of people is something that's so central to the themes of the series that I still have to get a good grasp on it. I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to get a gem, and then I'm going to get a weapon that I wanted to get earlier, and then I think I'm done with today's stream. It's very, very nice to have people here to help me out. Well, not to help me out, but very nice to have people here listening to me ask questions. It was very, very enlightening and very, very fun. I will do this more often, definitely, if I do have more things to talk about. But I don't think I do. I think I have a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things to say. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm getting beaten up. That sucks. It's tough. Okay, I died. Oops. I don't know what's going on. It's too tough. This game is too hard. Okay. Parry twice, what the hell, yeah. This is not a real player, by the way. This is, I can get invaded. No, I don't think I can get invaded. You can get invaded by real people. You can get real people can attack you, which is really cool. But I haven't. I think I have this. I think I have. I think you have to specifically do something for that to happen to you. And I died. Let's see. Let me think of something as the last topic. 2 hours of streaming. That was very fun. Wonder why, just like it was nothing. I need to actually do something. Okay. We're chilling. I think I'll just not fight him for now. I'll fight him later. The annoying thing about invasions is that you get spoiled on weapons and armors. Writes somebody into the chat. Well, I guess. But also kind of like, it also kind of motivates you. It makes you go like, wow, that looks so cool, I want to get that. Right? Makes you excited for what's about to come. Actually, I've been not level up. I need to actually keep my levels because I want to get a specific weapon this run. Yeah, here. Okay, let's see if we can have something interesting. No, but I think it's fine. I hope I talked about interesting things today. I think I've talked about enough for today. Hope it's something to sit on and maybe think about. Or maybe not even think about, just have something. Hope it was at least entertaining. Yeah, I think I'm correct, luckily. I hope. I haven't played this game in a long time, so I am kind of scared that I don't go the right way. But yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. I'm not skipping the cutscenes, but I don't really care to read all the dialogue. I think it wouldn't really be too interesting. As somebody writes, I wonder how old the Dark Souls world actually is with that being such a big theme. A lot of the things in Dark Souls cannot be taken literally. Again, to remind ourselves of the fact that one of their characters is called Don Coyote. So do think that it's kind of hard to say how old the game is, of course, like how old the character, like the world is, but it, oh my god, I'm really out of it. I'm out of it. It's messed up. Okay, how old is the world? It's something that can't really be said because the game is so much about. If you play Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 1 has a character called Solaire. He's by far the most famous NPC in the entire series. And he talks about how time is convoluted. And how heroes, century-old heroes, phase in and out of reality. And it's very hard to keep being connected with another person. There's no way to tell where the world will go. So that's kind of how it is, which is also again really interesting. It's a very interesting line, one of the most interesting lines in our series. There's a lot of theories about what exactly it means and what it entails. But yeah, it's hard to say how old it is, because Dark Souls 2 is supposed to be about like how Dark Souls 2 is such a weird game, because Dark Souls 2 is like a dream. Like I said, game about a dream. It's a game about a wonderland. It's a game about Alice in Wonderland. And even that is about a kingdom that has lasted for centuries. So it's purposefully ambiguous and convoluted, I would say. Hopefully I can still roll. No. But it's fine. Don't want to really. I think I will not even really use a shield. Okay, this is what I'm going to use, the bastard sword. I think it's very thematically appropriate. So I think it's going to be fun. That's it for today, I think. I think I've talked about every topic that comes to mind. I think I've exhausted my tongue, exhausted my mind. I want to eat something. I need sugar in my brain. So that's it. Okay, that's it. Bye.